but I was very, very stuck for many, many years. And they were periods when I would function at work barely. I was working in a corporate environment at that time. I would barely make it through the day. Food was the only thing that was bringing me any joy in my life. It was just an escape from the misery that I felt internally. We are talking today, and this is a topic that nobody talks about very much. In fact, almost nobody talks about this. And it's not something that I've really touched on a live stream before, I don't think. You see my live streams are normally like, with the pizzazz and the enthusiasm and it's all happening. And I'm not going to release that entirely. But this is a little more serious topic that I wanted to talk to you about today. Because today we're talking, and I just want to bring this up because if you did not see my live stream from yesterday, I told you about my weekend from hell. And it's not that it was the worst weekend of my life, but it felt like it to me. When I look back on recent weekends, there was none that compared to the horror of this weekend. But what I wanted to sort of say was that it was a horror of my own making. I created my own drama, and then I lived it for 2 entire days, a horror story that I had made up in my whole head, like everything's going to go wrong and nothing's ever going to be fixed again and I'll never overcome this. And, it was a drama with my computer. I blew it so far out of proportion, it went off into another stratosphere, right? But in my head, it wasn't like, oh, there's a small, glitch on my computer and I'll need to look into that. In my head, it was like, I can't do anything and my life is falling apart, and there were tears flowing. It was like somebody had died, people. I was traumatized. Like, we need to really, take a reality check. But I had done this to myself, did it to myself. So I lived in a hell of my own making for 2 days. If you missed yesterday's live stream, check it out, because I talk about the dark chocolate coated Kit Kats, and I said, really, no, I was on the cusp. That could have easily tipped me right over, but I pulled myself back from the edge. It's all right. There's still dark chocolate coated Kit Kats in the world for the rest of you. I did not consume them all, so it's all right. So far, you're safe so far. So today I really wanted to, bring this up, because when I sort of got up this morning, and this is how we roll. This is what we do, right? When something's going on in your life that is not fun for you, whatever it might be, you go to sleep at night and you get a reprieve from the drama, right, that's going on in your life. You get a reprieve. You wake up in the morning and it's like your mind just starts searching for things that are wrong. What can it come up with? And so for about 2.1 seconds, you're like, you open your eyes, like, everything's fabulous, right? And then your mind starts searching through the files of yesterday. What can it flick up for you to take you back to the horror that you were living? And so that's what my mind did. It took me 2 seconds. And then I'm like, I remembered all the things that were wrong. Did I lie there thinking about all the things that were right? No, did not. All the things that were wrong. Tick, 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 like on that list. Oh my gosh. Oh, that. Tick, 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 tick. And so I got out of bed. I thought, just let's chill. I did all my morning routine, did everything I had to do. And after about 2 hours, I was like, what is going on? What? And so I journaled, because I do this every morning. And this literally is what I have it here. I have it here. Although this is not my journal. Right. I have, lots of journals, because I go through a lot of them. And this is like this one line I just wrote. What is going on? What is going on? Because I thought, this is so not like me. You see me all the time. And like, for me to have this, I just felt stuck. And so I started journaling it out. And what I came up with, because really, sometimes we have things going on and they're legitimate. And we have deep, dark reasons for them. Sometimes you just have simply taken your focus and shifted it in the wrong direction. Now, I could give you example after example, right? This morning, I had to put something in the microwave for my fabulous fur baby, Miss Molly. And my microwave is in the garage, right? I'll tell you about that story another time, but that's where it is. So I walked into the garage, and it was all black in there. The lights were not on. It was black. But I could see the light from the microwave beeping at me. I could see it. What I thought to myself was, please hear me when I say this. I use the most random examples, but you will get this. Throw me a comment if you get what I'm saying. I walked into a black room. I could see the light from the microwave calling me towards it, because I had to go get the food for Miss Molly. Did I go, oh, I can see I need to go over there. Did I take a detour and start walking in the opposite direction into the darkness? No, I didn't. I walked towards the light that was flashing at me to tell me to come and get what it was that I wanted. And I thought, what a brilliant example for my life. What I had been doing the last few days and was still continuing to do was, there's a light flashing at you. It's flashing. Look here. Here's all the good things are here. Here's all the things that are amazing about you here. Look at these. Focus on these. Here's all the things that you can do that are great. Look at these. Focus on these. Here's all the talents you have. Here's the beauty you have. Here's the gifts that you have. Focus on these. And we turn around and go, no thanks. I'm going to wander off here into the darkness. And then I'm going to wonder why I feel so bad about myself, my life, my body, my food. And then we turn to food, eat, to escape the drama and the horror that we have just made for ourselves because we've wandered off into the darkness, turned away from the flashing light that has said, look at me, pay attention to me. What you need is here. We've just gone, oh, that can't be right. No, I'm just going to spend some time over here in the darkness. And then we get upset with ourselves. Why can't I control myself around food? Why does this work for everybody but me? Why can I not keep chocolate in the house? And then off we go. The drama is created again. If you're feeling me, let me know. Throw me some likes and some loves. Throw me a comment. Yeah, because this is how we do. This is how we do. And this is what I journaled out this morning. I'm like, you know what? I don't know that there is a big, deep, dark reason for the way I'm feeling right now. I think I have simply taken my eyes off of the light, off of the flashing light that's going, look at me. You're supposed to be focusing here. This is where everything is that you want. Why are you wandering around in the darkness over there? It's beeping. Not only does the microwave flash a light, it's beeping, and the thing is literally calling me in that direction. Oh, no thanks. I'm just going to wander over here in the darkness, and then I'm going to complain to everybody that will listen about how bad I feel, and then I'm going to try and comfort myself and escape the pain that I've created with food. Like, can we just take a pause for emphasis? Like this, I really want you to get. We take our eyes off of the joy, the amazing stuff in our lives, all the fun and really cool things, and we focus them on the pain, all the things that are wrong, the things that we don't like. We move away from the pleasure towards the pain, and then we wonder why we get more and more pain to focus on. Really, what I was going to sort of bring up, to you in this chat today, in our live stream, is that I personally suffered from clinical depression for years. So it is, these days I really don't have any issues with it. It's just I worked so hard at shifting my mindset and doing everything that I needed to do. I do also want to say that, depression is not... levels of everything, and it's also not something that you can just do a motivation course or a self-improvement course and then magically solved. It is it's a chemical imbalance. So and I really want to encourage, if it's something that you need, we don't need depression, but if you feel you need medical help, my gosh, get it. There's no shame in anything like that. I personally chose a route where I did not do that, and I'm sure it took me a lot longer to recover from it, but I was very, very stuck for many, many years. And they would periods when I would function at work barely. I was working in a corporate environment at that time. I would barely make it through the day. Food was the only thing that was bringing me any joy in my life. It was just an escape from the misery that I felt internally. And so I would, I remember my boss, like my manager, he would ask me to do things. He would just say, can you please do this particular task? I would just break down in tears. I couldn't cope. And he would be looking at me like, and I'm like, I literally felt like I could not cope with the smallest thing, would just send me into a frenzy. And then I would, spend an hour on the public transport, making my way home on the bus, and then I would get off at the shops, go in, buy a enormous, like, jumbo-sized packet of chips, and then go home and eat the chips in front of the TV crying, right? And that was my life for years. And I did gain a lot of weight at that time, which of course made the whole thing worse, just compacted it and compounded it, made it so much worse. So I wanted to bring this up today because the feelings I was feeling this morning was very similar to that. When you're in a really, just like a dark sort of place and you don't even know why, and you're like, there's nothing really that is worthy of the way that I'm feeling. Like, I can't connect it to a specific event that my mind can go, oh, okay, I can solve that and then I will feel better. Like, I couldn't actually put my finger on anything, which makes it so much worse. If there is something going on and then you think, oh, okay, all right, this event X is what is causing me to feel so down or so bad about myself or so fearful or scared or upset or stressed or anxious, then you think, well, I'll just resolve, thing X, and then I will feel better. But today I was sort of flicking through the files in my mind and I'm like, where is this coming from? This just feeling of, I was feeling anxiety, very stressed, extremely fearful. And I'm like, seriously, I was so freaked out. I'm like, what is going on? Hence what I wrote in the diary. What is going on? And what really came up for me is that if you can't pinpoint it on a specific thing that is actually, a real thing, there was no thing for me to pin it to. And then I thought, I don't think there is anything going on here. I have simply taken my eyes off the light, the beeping thing, the microwave in the shed that is telling me, look here, pay attention here. Here is all the glorious things in your life. Here's all the fabulous things about you. Here's what's great about what you can do. The way your body currently looks, the way your physical abilities currently are, all your talents and your skills and the gifts that you have. I just like brushed them all to the side and I'd wandered off into the darkness, bumping into things, hoping that eventually I would feel better. How could I feel better? I was nowhere near the light. I was nowhere near the light. So I wanted to encourage you all today and to put this out there. If this helps you in any capacity, please do go ahead and share, because you hear me say it every single day. When you empower yourself and give yourself permission to no longer be ashamed about any part of you, your body, your relationship with food, the way you feel about yourself, when you empower yourself to step up and be all of you, then you give another person permission to do the same. And one by one, that is exactly how we change the world. That is how global change happens. So I really wanted to thank you all, because, depression is not something that we talk about very often. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's not a fun topic. It's not. But I think, with my example of the microwave and the light, I think we can all get it and understand that, these things, they're not always so big and enormous the way we make them out to be. We have simply taken our eyes off the light. We're just looking in the wrong direction. We're facing into the darkness and wondering why we can't see anything. You're looking the wrong way. This is the thing. Eventually we just need to make a decision that we are worth more, and it's not easy. I'm definitely gonna say to you, it's not, and then you just make a decision and you push forward and you power forward, and you got to do what works for you. And sometimes that might work to really give yourself a boot up the booty, and just go get a grip. But other times you just might need to cry it out. I was crying all weekend. And I'm still in that really fragile emotional state, which is what had me today. I'm like, why? Like, what is actually really going on here that has pushed me to this fragile emotional state? And can I be very honest? Because I showed you, for those of you who are just joining here live now, we're talking about, my journal entry from this morning. I have a ton of these things. But this is, this morning's. And what I had written was, Kylie, I don't think there's some deep, dark secret here. You're simply tired. I am tired. I have not slept properly because of the drama that I created for myself over the weekend. I did not sleep. Really, I didn't sleep. I had a late night Friday. Did not sleep well Saturday night because I was in Drama City. Did not sleep well Sunday night, Drama City. Even last night, I was not sleeping well. This is what I had written. I think you're just tired. You're just really, really tired. As I was writing my journal, I'm like, I am so tired. I really wanted to actually just crawl back into bed and go to bed. So yeah, I knew that I was extremely tired. And you are in a fragile emotional state when you're tired. You're not well rested. Nothing is working like it's supposed to. So I'd already made a mental note. I'm like, oh my gosh, find some time on the schedule today to take a nap. Or if that is not possible, go to bed, shimmy your butt to bed so early tonight, so early it's like toddler time, right? Like, I don't care. Eat something and then shimmy your butt off to bed. Because self-care is the number one thing here. And this is exactly what Christine's saying. Self-care. Turning to the food, I know it seems like, I lived it. I lived it for years. I didn't do this for months when I told you about my battle with depression. I did not, that wasn't like, oh, and for a month. I was like, no, it was probably, it was probably 3 or 4 or even 5 years that I really struggled deeply. Eventually the bouts would get less and less and less, but, it went from just living that way constantly. And, I get it, guys. I really get it. It could be the most sunshiny day, the most brilliant day that anybody would look at and go, what a gorgeous day. I could have carnivals around me with everything happening and people doing somersaults and free cake and free chocolate with no calories all around me. And all I would feel like was that there was a giant grey cloud over my head and it was just raining, So, God, okay, so it makes me emotional because I remember it very, very well. And it was not a fun place to be. And so I really get it when you talk about this. And you can see I've been in an emotional state because it's the second day in a row now that I've almost teared up on a live stream. So soon I'm going to be stressing about that. Then I'll go, I can't get on another live stream. I'm going to burst into tears. But really, this is why I say to you, sleep. So important. Making wiser food choices, even and especially when you don't feel like it, so important. You wouldn't, and seeking professional medical advice. You just have to. That's the bottom line, because you owe it to yourself. It's not like, oh, can I do this, or should I do this, or should I not? You owe it to yourself. You don't do it because somebody tells you to do it. You do it because you owe it to yourself. Right? That's the difference. You have to know, and you do know this, you do. But when you're stuck in that depressive state, you can't see, hear, or feel almost anything. You're numb. And food is almost like a way to snap out of the numbness for 5 minutes whilst you're eating, because you get the sensation of and the pleasure of the food. And then you just slide right back into numbness. You feel nothing. You care about nothing. Nothing matters. Just couldn't care less if you're here or not. Couldn't. So that's really at the depths of it, and that's how it was for me when I was at my absolute worst. So of course, I gained so much weight because of the depression, because I was just eating and eating and eating, that it made it so much worse, that then even when there was nothing more for me to be depressed about or anything like that, then I was hideously depressed over the weight gain that I had. That I gained. So it was it is a vicious cycle, and the only way to drag yourself out is to drag yourself out. Whether it happens for you in like a zing moment, probably not, but it will start with small commitments to yourself each day, like I'm going to go to bed early, or because sometimes you can be, I was very, very tired because you're exhausted. Being depressed is exhausting, right? It's actually exhausting to be in that state, that physical and mental state. You don't feel energized. You don't feel like you got it all going on. You don't feel like you want to do anything because you don't care about anything and nothing matters and everything sucks. And you sort of go through those cycles of being really angry with everybody. And then just, I remember back then I could not even talk to people without crying. Like nothing was wrong. People go, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. I didn't know why I felt such sorrow, but I felt deep levels of sorrow. That's why I say to you about it was like there was a grey storm cloud just over my head like a cartoon, and everywhere I went, there it was. And it was just raining on me all the time. Everybody else had sunshine, everybody else doing fun things, not Kylie. Kylie had the grey cloud. About the reason that we get so in these funks and so, and depressed about things when there's actually nothing, feeling stressed, anxious, upset, fearful about things when there's nothing to be fearful about, is because I said what I had done this morning with my little fur baby, Miss Molly. I put her food in the microwave to heat it up for her, which is in my shed. Like I said, another story for another time. It's in the shed, right? So when I went back to get it, because I could hear it beeping, it's calling me, the microwave is calling me, I go into the shed and there was no light on, so it was completely black. But I could see the light from the microwave. I could see it. And it's beeping at me. So it's calling me in that direction. There's a light and it's beeping at me. It's calling me in that direction. And I thought to myself, this is what we do when we get so upset about things and things are not working in our life and we feel so sad and we can't really pinpoint why. Because that microwave was calling me, it was telling me, come over here to get what you want. And I thought, this is what we do. It is almost the same as turning away from the microwave, turning into the dark, dark blackness of the shed and just going off, wandering off over there and wondering why I wasn't getting the things I wanted. What I wanted was over there in the microwave. If I had just wandered off into the shed and started just randomly bumping into things, hoping that I was going to get something that I wanted, how would that work? How would that benefit me? What I wanted was not over there. It was over there in the microwave where the light and the beeping was calling me. And I said, this is what we do. We get in these funks and these depressive states, not clinical chronic depression. I'm talking about just the general, because today I was just feeling blah, and I didn't know why I was feeling blah. There was no reason for it. And as I journaled it out, I was like, Kylie, you've just taken your eyes off of the fun, the amazing, the really cool, the awesome things, and you're just focusing on the darkness, thinking and then getting upset. Why do I feel bad? Because you're wandering around in the darkness. So this is what I wanted to say to you today. Turn back to the light. Turn back to the light. It's where the action is. Please do go ahead, like, love, and share. As you share this message out and empower yourself, you give somebody else permission to be empowered as well. And as I say, that is how we change globally, person by person by person. The only person who can change your life is you. When you look at the light and stop bumbling around in the darkness, that is when you can be very assured you've got what it takes. I want to catch you all tomorrow. Until then.